Very good afternoon to all students. I can see only 3 students have joined the session, so let's wait for 2 to 3 minutes, then we will start. Okay, thank you. So let's wait for 2 to 3 minutes, then we will start. Very good afternoon to all. Am I audible? Fine. So let me share my screen with you. That's what our syllabus. I think we had already gone through an orientation program. Okay, so let me give you a brief idea once we begin with our syllabus. We had already completed with the PHP brush up things, okay? And we had already started with the, you can say, experiment number 1, which is based on the HTML, CSS3 and JavaScript. So I guess no need to brush up those fundamentals. So we will directly starts with the object oriented with the PHP. So that's what the outline of unit number 1. The object-oriented programming with the PHP, which includes class, properties, methods, magic methods in which a constructor, destructor, getter, setter methods are there, as well as the encapsulation, inheritance, and the data description and the polymorphism. Now, as I've already instructed that once we start with the actual syllabus from the unit number 1, there will be always a demo session. Okay. So first of all, I request all the students that you are requested to kindly join through your laptop only. Okay. So whatever the experiment which I'm going to perform right now over here, you need to perform at your own also. Fine. So I'll give you 5 minutes for that. Kindly make the necessary arrangement for that. All right. Kindly join the meet through your laptop, and I request all the students to kindly install the XAMPP or WAMP for the Windows users. Those who are Mac users, they can install the MEMP or LAMP, right? And kindly get ready with those stuffs. Okay. So meanwhile, we are going to start with the unit number 1. So first of all, does anyone having any doubt on this? You can ask, because in each and every session we will have a demonstration only. Once I'm going to run over here, after that I'm going to ask you to run. All right, then we're going to proceed further. Otherwise it won't be possible for me. Okay, so tell me about this. I'm not getting your question, Ayush. I mean, you are having another questions regarding syllabus. Fine, you can ask after the session, no worry. So are you guys ready? Are you guys ready? I can see only 29 students have joined the session. Fine, so let's get started with the unit number 1. Okay, this is a object-oriented programming PHP. That's what our subject code 01800701, an advanced web technology. Am I audible? Hello? Fine. I request all the students to kindly make the necessary stuff ready. Okay. So first of all, this is what the outline in which we are going to complete. These are the number of topics one by one. The first one is classes, then properties, methods. Magic methods are constructor, destructor, getter, setter methods, encapsulations, inheritance, data abstraction, and in the last, polymorphism. So definitely I'm going to start from the scratch only. So the object-oriented programming, basically it's a procedural programming language, writing a procedure or functions that perform some certain operations on a particular data. That's why, which is known as the procedural language. Now, what does that mean by the object-oriented programming? Definitely we're going to create some objects, all right, and that contain both the data as well as the functions. That's why this is known as the object-oriented programming. All right, it's a programming language only. All right, or you can say it's a programming model organized around an object rather than actions and data rather than a logic. All right, so that's what the basic understanding of the what does that mean by the object-oriented programming language, as well as the what do you mean by the procedural programming language. First of all, why we need OOP? Definitely there are some certain advantages are there. All right, and that's why we're going to use the OOP. So these are the list of the advantages. That first one would be faster and easier to execute. Definitely it provides a clear structure for the variety of the programs. It keep PHP code dry, which means you're not going to repeat yourself once again once you're done. All right, and to make the code easier and maintain, all right, to modify as well as the debug, as well as to create a full reusable applications with a less code and the shorter development time. Okay, now at the each of the slide, I'll give you some hint. Okay, so you need to at least mention those things, which is actually regarding a mid-semester as well as the end semester. So first of all, I want you to take the screenshot of this, the advantages of OOP. It may be asked in end semester examination as well as in the mid-semester examination. 2 marks. Okay, 2 marks. So now let's get started with the OOP concepts. Okay. Is it visible, right? Is it visible, right? Yeah. Okay. So the classes, object, inheritance, polymorphism, data abstraction, encapsulation, constructor as well as destructor. What do you mean by the classes? Okay. A programmer define usually data type, which includes the local functions as well as the local data, right? Or you can say the blueprint or the prototype or a set of instruction to build a specific type of the object. Okay. Now I try to explain the things. Okay. Like what exactly the class has. Definitely the class has a member data, which means a member as well as the function or the member function. So as you can see this, that's what's look like a capsule thing. Okay, this is a particular class which has a member data 1, member data 2, all right, and the member function 1 and member function 2. Fine. Definitely the object are also there, right? And the object has a member data 1, which means the number of members and the list of the members are there, right? So that's what the class is. Take a look on this example. First of all, you can consider class car. It's a blueprint. Okay. Now, what exactly the states of car? I mean, what exactly the color is, model, price, and what exactly the behavior of the car, speed up, and the change gear. All right. So, are you able to understand this? What does it mean by the class? All right. And what are the members are there? The class members. Please respond in chat box at least. I got only one reply. What about the rest of all 34 students? Okay, thank you. Fine. So what exactly the class is? Usually the class definition starts with the keyword class followed by the class name and then a set of curly braces, right, which means the number of members we're going to define in this. The class is enclosed with the constant variables called properties and the functions called methods, and those are usually belong to that particular class. The class name usually begins with the uppercase letters to distinguish them from the other identifiers. All right. So these are the certain things that we need to consider while we are defining the class or creating the class. Right. So take a look on the syntax of the class. Okay. You can see this. That's what the starting and ending PHP. All right, notation. So I'm going to write some PHP code within this. Now there is a class keyword and then my class, which means the name of that class, which is my class. All right. There are some certain curly brackets out there. And after that, you can add some property statements over here, as well as if you wanted to add some methods, different methods you can include over here. All right. So basically, what's the difference between the class and object? So the class is nothing but, you can say, it's a template for object. All right. And object's nothing but it's an instance of class. So if somebody gonna ask you in a 1 mark, what's the difference between the class and object? You can state this too. All right. So what does it mean by the class, first of all? It's a template for objects. And what does it mean by the object? Which means it's a basically instance of class. All right. So that's what the syntax and the very basic fundamentals. Okay. Now, what does it mean by the property of the different class? Class member variables are called the properties or the attributes or the fields of that particular property. So the property holds some specific data and that is related with the particular class in which it has been defined. Okay, which means definitely if I'm going to write something, then definitely if I have some, which means if I'm going to write some certain statements, then definitely those certain statements hold some specific value, and that has to be belong to that particular class only. All right. So you can use one of the keywords also. All right. This is actually the access modifiers, the public, protected, as well as the private. All right. That is also possible with the normal variable declaration. Right. So if you're gonna declare using the var keyword, it's definitely a compatibility up to the PHP 4, but the property will be defined usually as public only. Right. So that's what the meaning of the properties. So definitely these are some Viva questions are there at the time of the external Viva voice. That what do you mean by the class and object? What do you mean by the properties? All right. Look, nobody gonna ask you the exact definition of the properties, but in a Viva, they're gonna ask you whether you are cleared with the fundamentals or not. That's the meaning of the Viva only. Okay, nobody gonna ask you the exact definition that please define this and define that. You can speak in your language also. There is nothing wrong with that. Okay, so please, I request all the students to focus on fundamentals, not to mug up anything. Okay. And definitely this will help you to improve your placement probability or chances as far as concerned. So the properties can be, now these are the properties are there, or you can say access modifiers, the public, private, and protected. Definitely everyone know about what do you mean by the public properties. It can be accessed outside of the class also, either by the script from the another class. It doesn't matter. Right. What do you mean by the private? The no access grant from the outside of the class, either the script from the another class also. And the protected, no access is grant from the outside of the class except a class that's a child of the class within the protected property or a method. All right. So definitely somebody gonna ask you differentiate public, private, and protected, 3 marks. All right. So you need to write this slide. So I want you to take the screenshot of this and kindly note it down for the same. And please, when you're done with the screenshot, you are requested to please respond in chat box. I got only 2 reply. What about the rest of others? Okay, fine. Thank you so much for the response. Let's moving to continue and okay, that's what the basic example, right? That how we're going to define the class. Look, this type of the questions can be asked in Viva to check whether your fundamental is clear or not. Okay, so how to define a class? Normal, right? So normal class, my class. There are 3 properties defined with the variable, all right? A public font size 10, private font color red, and protected font text AWT. All right. As you can see, this font size, it's integer. Why? Because it defines as a 10. Font color, it is red, which means it's a string, and font text, it is also a string. Okay. So you can see these are the primitive data types which has been used in PHP. Okay. So there are 2 ways to initialize the property. All right. Or the first one, you can do this by inside the class, which means by creating a methods. And the other one, which is outside of the class, which means by directly changing the property value. Okay. So that can be initialized by 2 ways. How many ways? 2 ways. Okay. So these are the example, directly changing the property value, right? So there is one class named books, public title. Outside of the class, I'm changing the, you can say, property. So there is object new books, all right, and the book title would be the advanced PHP. All right. So that's what the example, that how you can directly change the property value. Methods. Methods usually known as the function, right? And those functions which are basically the statements of the class only. So the functions which are declared in the class, which is known as the methods. Now the class methods is exactly similar to the PHP functions, that what we implemented in the PHP. Okay, so you can use one of the keywords, I mean access modifiers or the properties, public, protected, and the private, followed by the name of the method or the method name. A valid method name starts with a letter or an underscore, and or followed by any numbers of the letters, numbers as well as the underscore. It can also access the properties and the methods of the current instance by using this, which means it denotes the current object or function or methods. All right. So it's a proper, if you're going to write this like this property, so definitely for non-static property only. Right. So this keyword refers the current object, as I've told you. and is only available inside the method zone. Right. So definitely one more Viva question. What do you mean by the $this keyword? What exactly it refers? Definitely it refers the current object. Okay. Till now, does anyone having any doubt? Till now, does anyone having any doubt in this? What do you mean by the class? What do you mean by the object? What do you mean by the property? What do you mean by the methods? Right? These are the very basic fundamentals are there. Okay. Once we're gonna start with the examples, you will have idea. Okay. So let's get started with this example now. Okay. So at least you will have idea on this. Fine. Fine. So I hope that are you guys ready with the your laptop? So let's start coding. Okay. Are you guys ready? Please respond in chat box. I got only 2 to 3 reply. What about the rest of others? Fine, so let's get started with the code. HTML, body, okay, HTML body, is it visible right, or is it okay now? Font size, fine. So let's get started with the first example. I'm going to write, say for example, that's what my class car. Okay. And let's say for example, if I'm going to define, say for example, properties. So what exactly the properties are, say for example, the public dollar name and public, say for example, color, right? So these are the properties, or you can say member. Okay. After that, choose methods. Okay, so for example, I'm going to write function set underscore name, and I'm gonna pass the argument also name. These are the statements of the function now that what I wanted to do. I'm going to refer the current object like $this is equals to name equals to $name. Right. So which basically states the current object, as well as I'm going to choose another function like function get name. Alright, same argument is name, which means I'm going to as well as I want to return also, because it is going to pass the value name. Okay, and let's choose another function. For example, function set colors, argument is color. There are some certain statements of this function also, and definitely I'm going to choose object this color equals to dollar color, right? And for the same, the set function is there, so let's get the data also. So function get underscore colors, there are some certain arguments is also there, but with the name and return, sorry, I'm going to return the color. Okay, so that's what the class we do have. Take a look on this one more time. We do have the two properties, as you can see this, the public name as well as the color, right? We do have the methods set name, get name, method set color, and the get color to get and set the name. Now let's choose object. So for example, OD is equals to new car, okay, and the $OD set name, okay, and as an argument, if I'm going to pass over here like OD, okay, and that's what the first I have set the name of the car. Basically you can choose over here, you can choose any of the object. Okay, I have chosen OD, you can choose anyone. Fine. So over here OD and then set color. So for example, I love suppose black color. All right, so now you're gonna print something, echo OD to get name, so we're going to return get name. Okay, for the new line, So let's run this file and check. So I'm using the mem, so it is already started. Okay. Okay. Take a look on this. The output is OD and black is there. Okay. So now I'm going to give you the code. All right. Uh, no one is going to reply in chat box. I'm going to give you code, and all the students are requested to kindly execute this. Okay. Please execute this at your end. So you will have experience of this. I'm going to test one by one. Okay. Yeah. Please execute this program and kindly check the output, whether you're able to receive this output or not. How many of you don't have the laptop right now? Please respond in chat box. So I guess everyone has their own laptop, right? Thank you. So I'm going to ask you to share your screen now within 2 minutes. Okay. I'm going to ask you to share your screen now within 2 minutes. Before just a second, everyone having their own laptop. Now all of a sudden two has responded and three left. So there are 40 students, from that 39 having laptop, right? Fine. So hold on, let me choose a name and let me ask share your screen. Rutvik Gopani, please share your screen and kindly execute this program and show to the class. Please.
Rutvik, are you there? Rutvik, are you there or not? Okay, Nikisha Sharma, please share your screen. Nikisha. Nikisha. Yes, sure. Is it okay now? Ayush? Look, nobody is responded. Why? I already asked students to share your screen. Without that, how can I proceed further? Nikisha, am I audible to you? Yeah, definitely I already. Okay, Ayush, is it visible? My screen? That's what the output. Is it okay now? Fine. So I request the students to please share your screen. Rutvik, Gopani, and Nikisha, both of you are requested to kindly share your screen. Okay, so both of you getting the error. Fine, no worry. Let me give you one more time this code. Please execute this once. Please execute this. Okay. Look, when I'm going to ask you to share your screen, you need to share. Fine, nobody has responded. Look, it's not work out, definitely. The code is right, my dear, because one of the students has already done, right? And for each and every students, I'm not able to solve the errors. Okay.
Hello, sir.
Yes.
Sir, this is Pi code
Okay.
and output.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Okay, sir.
Fine. So, hold on for a moment. I'm announcing the name of the students you are requested to respond in chat box. Hardik, Parth Vachani, Asha, Asha, Dikshit, Dikshit, Tara, Mahek Pratipal Dhruv, Mahek absent, Pratipal present, Dhruv present. Archit Harsh Shubra, Archit Harsh Shubra. Paritosh Shanvi Mihir, Mihir, Darsh Dhairya Dhrutvik, Darsh is absent, Dhairya and Dhrutvik present. Amit Kishan Parita, Parita, Priyank Ruchita Pranav, Shubh Dev Nikisha. Nikisha, now you have responded. Why? I already asked you to share your screen. At that time, you were not responding. What is the reason? Please unmute yourself and give me the answer. Jeet Dharmendra Ayush. Dharmendra Ayush. Meet Mihir Raj. Mihir and Raj. Bhaumik Vaibhav Drashti. Shivani Bharat Yash. Yash. Ishit Manoj Rikshit. Ishit absent. Manoj present. Rikshit absent. Rutvik Rakshit Abhishek. Janvi Yash Dhruvi. Janvi Yash Dhruvi. Drashti Mohil Nemish. Nemish. Sarthak Kevin Ishani. Ishani. Akshay. Reshma Sivans Rahul.
Rahul?